farm, firepower, and armory. These are military terms to say that there's an eternal spiritual war. So when I consume anything that I could perceive as this might not be good for me, this is me being fired upon by the enemy. The percentage of good for me, let's say if something is 60% good for me and 40% maybe not, then that's me improving. It's me firing upon the enemy, because by doing that, I'm going to improve myself as far as my physical health and keep myself in the air, right? So there's a term that my son said a long time ago. We were running through the forest, or we were walking through the forest, and then we started running, and then there's a big hole, and he jumped over the hole and he says, "You gotta be light to fly." And I was like, wow, that's a nice one, right? Because that's a double entendre, right? Because you gotta be light to fly. It means you have to know that it's light, or else you're not flying. And your physical body has to be light if you want to fly. Fat people can't fly, basically. And so, I got sick a week ago. Same problem again, and third time this year, in a year, which is unusual. And it is that when I consume processed food or things that are 60% not good for me, then I get sick. I get heavier and I get sick. And then I start to, my problem, my body says, no, we ain't doing that. And in order for me to get healthy again, in the past, when I went to the doctor a couple of times, and based on the advice given to me by the doctor, he told me how to fix the problem without coming to the doctor. And basically it's monitor what I consume for 2 weeks and don't mess up, and also rest. And so monitor my consumption and rest for 2 weeks, you'll be okay. Or I could go to the doctor and get medication, I'll be okay in 1 week. But the cool thing that happens when I do the monitoring for 2 weeks is I lose weight after about 1 week. And that's how I know I'm getting better. And so this morning I woke up and I was like, oh, I lost weight. That means I'm getting better. I feel healthier. I feel stronger now too. And I was like, wow, that's like, I gotta be light to fly. Because I did have a dream last night. The first time ever I had a dream last night about actually flying a flying saucer, right? And I was taking a group of people on an experience about it and teaching them what it is and how it works and everything. And I woke up feeling lighter. My body felt lighter, and I was like, oh, you gotta be light to fly. And so farm says that, when I consume the food that I grow, that is me firing up on the enemy, because that is me doing the best I could possibly do for myself as far as the food that I consume. When I consume something from the outside that I don't know where it's coming from, and I could perceive that this might not be good for me. For instance, here's instant coffee that I'm gonna stop drinking, right? Because these are one of the things that I thought to myself, I might be drinking too much of this, because the regular Blue Mountain coffee is doubled in price, a few months ago. Went from $50 to $100 suddenly, and I'm like, nah, I can't afford that. And I started drinking this stuff maybe about 2 months ago, and I'm like thinking, this is not good for me. This is that one of those 60% instant coffee, because from years and years and years and years of drinking Blue Mountain coffee, and I've never drank instant coffee, right? And now I'm drinking it, and I'm drinking it too much. In my mind, I'm like, okay, so then I'm gonna get sick from that. Anything that's like potentially not good for me, low quality, processed. There's stuff that I could consume that I didn't, that are still good for me. Like, let's for instance, the whole point is the whole point is that the more I consume what I create, like the food that I create, I consume that. If I'm doing that 60-40, if 60% of the food that I eat is the stuff that I farm, then I'm okay. But if I go 60% outside food, 40% what I create, then I get sick, and my spaceship falls from the sky, right? So you gotta be light to fly. And I have another week, and man, it's sweet because I don't see myself ever getting sick, at least not for that reason, not for consuming bad food or in consuming anything, putting anything inside my body. Yeah, as long as I don't do that, I'll be okay. And I've said that in the past, and for some reason, I lose track and I go off track and I start eating all this stuff and I get sick again. It's like, why does it happen again? You know, right? But I think this time, this is that time. Based on me having that dream last night, says, okay, I think I'm ready. I think it's like my dream is telling me, you're there now. Maybe it's because, oh yeah, I know why I'm going to be all right this time, because I did define farm as firepower and armory. Whereas the physical labor is the firepower, the armory is the food, and consuming the food is the ammunition being fired. You know, when I farm and I give away food, them consuming it is ammunition being fired. But anyone who consumes the stuff that I create is stands to benefit. Stands to benefit, right? So the enemy is anyone who creates processed food or tries to, like for instance, red peas. Right, I have my own red peas that I grew and I dry in the sunshine versus red peas from the store that came from a factory and all machines and it's not dried in the sun. It's a big difference there, right? And red peas is something I consume every single week, even if I don't want to, because red peas makes rice and peas, and that's like one of the most popular things here in the island. And those chefs are not using red peas that came from a farm. So yeah, eat wild, eat natural to be free.